How you doing? I'm Leroy Washington from Diesel Class 01 and I attend J-Tech. Right now we're going to talk about wire repair in a circuit. Okay, well of course, we got to start at the beginning and the most important part. When you're repairing a wire in a circuit, you need to de-energize it. That's right, disconnect the negative lead to the battery. Some guys just do the positive. Whatever you need to do, just make the circuit open so no current can flow. Okay, so now we got here just your basic 18 gauge wire, and it's just a multi-strand 18 gauge wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to first simulate a break or fray opening the circuit by opening the wire. So first thing we do is simulate. Okay, so now that you have an opening the wire, what you're going to do is you're going to need to put it back together so that you can have continuity or continual flow for the conductors, so that we can have electron flow now, or voltage. Now what we do is, when you cut the wire, or when the wires are damaged at the ends, as you can see, you can't just put them back together. You need to condition it or get it ready, prepare it to be spliced back together. Now there's multiple ways you can splice these wires back together and put it back in the circuit. You have the first and foremost best way, the splice. And these, you have to match the gauge of the wire with the color. Now I think it's about 22 to 18 for the red, and 18 to, let's see, it's 16 to 14. So it's 22 to 18 for the red, 16 to 14 for the blue, and it is 12 to 10 for the yellow. And those are the gauges. They're actually on these splices, so you shouldn't be able to get confused. But you must put the correct splice in, because you will diminish the functionality of your joint or your splice. You don't want to put a splice that's too big and then you have to fold the wires. You don't even have to do any of that. All you got to do is get the wire ready and put it in there, and then you crimp it down. Now we are going to splice this wire back together, simulate it like it's in our circuit, in our truck, in our diesel truck. Okay, so now we knew the gauge of the wire, and there's ways you can check the gauge of the wire. You got to read them. It can come on the side. You can read them. If you can't read it, there's other ways to tell, like you Google GTS. Yeah, there you go. So now we got our splice and we got our wires. First thing I do is get the ends right. So one of the ways that I like to get the ends of the wires right is you can use strippers. Now I have strippers, but I don't even like those. So I'm going to do it the bestest and the oldest, fashionedest way ever. You get your lighter. Don't burn, don't damage the wire itself. You don't want the wire to change color, change it black or nothing. You want to keep it pristine. You want it to be just like it was inside without anything else. So all you're doing is you're melting or setting on fire a little bit the installation. And by the time I see it catch on fire, whatever, I know it's just about ready. Now, twist the ends of your wires, because one of the main things you're wanting to do is keep continuity. Now when you're looking at your splice, you can see easily that the wire is not all the way in. You do want the wire to go all the way through. So since we don't have it at the length we need, we will make it at the length we need. Now, you don't got to cut that much. jagged ends. You want to make sure that it's smooth so it goes into the splice. You know, got it all phrased hanging out and things like that. Now, if you can see, that wire is all the way in there. That is what you want. Now, what I like to do with my ratcheting crimper, I like to grab it first with the ratcheting crimper, the splice that is. And what I do is I set it up so that I can almost be hands-free with my crimping. You got to do a little eyeballing here to make it right, because the once you start the ratcheting crimper, it will start to go. And there is a locking mechanism on the middle so that you can release the crimp, so you don't have to go all the way through it. But I got the crimp in one time to set it. Now go to our prepared wire and put the crimp in. Put the wire in the splice, and now we are going to crimp. You want to definitely make sure and pull on it afterwards to make sure that you are secure. But this is our splice. It doesn't get any better than that. Quick, easy, boom, out of the way. Now, we'll go to the other side. Of course, the other side was too long. Twist the wire. And just make it the correct length so that it fits into the splice. It's very simple. The other methods for repairing wires are soldering. There's a solder splice where you would just put these in. I don't think you can crimp it and heat it down so it seals it. Now these splices, they do not seal, so you would have to put shrink wrap on it, okay, and or the heat shrink, and you put those on the end before you put the splice together, because if you don't put it on first, you're never gonna get it on. Plus, you don't want to be trying to slice a piece of heat shrink down the middle, talking about, yeah, I'm just gonna slap it on. That doesn't work either. So here's the crimp. Boom, bada bing, bada boom, or bada bang, bada boom, whatever you want, however you say. There's our crimp. Sometimes you might have to do it again. Oh, see, perfect example. It was not a good crimp, but I am fortunate enough that I can put it right back in because it didn't crimp it at all. And that's why you got to double check these things, because you don't want the driver to go off down the street and you didn't triple check your crimp. You didn't make sure it was right the first time. So go down, change sizes. Now let's pull on again. Oh yeah, super tight. Like I said, you have your heat shrink on first, and then you crimp, and you want to make it the continuity. See how the wires are all the way up to the splice? I'm tugging on it. You see it's tugging. You see the crimps. That's the best way to fix a wire in a circuit. Now, like I said, you can solder, but the thing about solder is you got to know what you're doing, because you don't want the wire to change color. Once you change the color of the wire, the copper, once you burn it, you have damaged its ability to, or you have lessened its ability to conduct electricity. So be careful with your solder, or actually learn from a professional. Take a class or something. But it's not easy. Solder's not hard. It's probably buy it at Napa anytime you want. Let's see. There are some other cheaper ways that I do not recommend to fix wires or circuit wires in the circuit. The splice is the best way. Heat shrink, no tape. This is Leroy Washington from J-Tech, Diesel Class 01, signing out.